Looking good. Live in the studio. So I thought I would start a little earlier and just kind of go over exactly what I've set up. Today I'm incredibly excited because what we're doing is we're doing the perspective piece that we usually do from the whiteboard, set up a slide deck for it. And I really want to sort of challenge myself to help you to really surprise you, but also to see how we can make this a more interactive experience. Does that all make sense? So as we do all this work today, I hope you enjoy the first part being here on the big screen. I've also set it up so right next to the camera is the slide deck on a tripod with a stand for a laptop. And I'll make sure I take a picture of that and post it in the replay. So today we're going to be diving deep on keeping perspective. This is the second half 2018. Then we're diving into 3 powerful ways to be the best lover, leader, and friend. So I'm going to kind of set things up a little bit here as we step into this. Let me make sure that we got audio and we'll rock it out. Yes. Oh, it's looking good today. So excited about this. So happy you're here. So let me go ahead and set up. We're going to do a little live stream too and rock it out. All right, rocking it out. Okay. Yeah. Excellent. Time to rock it. So here we are, the studio in the sky. We're ready to rock this day, to really go after health, wealth, happiness, monthly mastery. So many of you know my story. It's kind of like even 10 years ago, temper tantrum, had a lot of neutral, negative energy. Was a happy guy overall. It was a lot bigger. So there was a lot of sort of mastery in the last 10 years. And when people ask, what was it for me that really shifted everything? What's that one thing? It was getting very clear on my future vision of who I wanted to be. Who I wanted to be as a dad, as a husband, as a friend, as a leader, I guess, if you want to call it that. All these things. So today we're going to be diving deep like we do every month. Today I want to pay particular attention, though, to reviewing the first half of this year and then stepping into the last half of this year, as we have just a few weeks ago, so that you on the New Year's Eve, December 31st, you're like, I crushed the last half of this year. Yeah, first half, there were some things that went right, maybe a couple things went wrong, but I adjusted, course corrected, and went after really specific things to make sure I feel connected, alive, just in a really good way. And I want to make sure as we set that tone that you've got the tools you need. So if you're not at bit.ly/monthlyhealth, go ahead and pop over there. You can get the life assessment. We'll be working through that in a little bit. You can also get our Wheel of Perspective. We'll be walking through that. And then I have an extra download for you. About a third of the way through our training today, I'll flip the screen a little bit. We're going to work from the whiteboard for some training and some tactics to make sure that we're really helping you out and really setting that stage for an enthusiastic, loving, appreciative adventure, but also the way we're going to set the stage for the last half of this year. So excited you're here. Cannot wait to get started. What do we have here? About 2 minutes, and we'll be rocking it out. So if you have any specific questions, feel free to comment below. If anything comes up for you as we do this, comment below. If there's anything I can do to support you, to help you, to champion you on, to even challenge you, that's the coach in me. I would love to be able to have that opportunity. Just let me know. As so many have said, and I feel honored to say this to you, people have said, Char, you're one of the only people or the only person who listens to me without judgment. Like really listens to what I have to say, gives me a new illustration, new things to think through, new things that help me, and really move the needle for me in terms of being able to think about bigger ambitions in life, bigger ambitions in business, bigger ambitions on this beautiful planet of ours. So that being said, we got about a minute left before we officially start July 2018's Health, Wealth, and Happiness Monthly Mastery. So excited you're here. I'm trying to bring the joy. I hope you are too. And I hope wherever you're at right now in life, on your journey, that you're doing okay. And if there's, like I said, if there's anything I can do to help you, we're going to walk through a very specific assessment to sort of rate where you're at. We're going to do it in a way today that's kind of meditative, if you will, if that's a word. And it's really going to help. I think it'll really help you. And I'm going to do it from the big screen this time. So, what do we have? Oh, it's start time. So, here we go, guys. Welcome to July 2018 Health, Wealth, Happiness Monthly Mastery. We've shifted things up a little bit. I'm incredibly excited to tell you. We have the perspective piece coming from the big screen. Then we're going to do some really specific training on 3 powerful ways to be the best leader, the best lover, and the best friend that you can be. Just some of the high points in high performance coaching that I do, but also this really powerful emotional guidance system or scale. And I want to walk that through with you. I got some stuff drawn up on the whiteboard. We'll be walking through that. It's going to take about an hour today, and then we'll take an hour break. Then we go into our business and internet monthly mastery. We're going to forward this conversation into how we teach ambition-based curriculum and marketing and make sure that we're really helping people understand we get them, but that we also have co-created ambition for them. Co-created in the sense that they're supporting this creation so that they support going after it. You follow? So that being said, let's jump right in and get going. So new format, we're going to be working from the big screen. First and foremost, how does this all work? Big picture, we're going to talk perspective. First third of our time together is getting that perspective. I want to make sure you're taking care of at least once per month where we're owning this for you, keeping perspective on the really big things that matter. And then we're going to jump into training to support keeping that perspective, growing that perspective. Sometimes people just don't know what they don't know. And I want to make sure I'm here to help you think bigger, think more ambitiously, and just stay in the positive, going after your dreams, your ambitions, those kind of things. It's all part of my purpose statement. And that you have clarity doing it. Cool? So the training piece will help today in a big way to really arc that message of how to be a better communicator, but also how to be a better storyteller and how to really help people understand that you get them and you want to help them. But let's talk from an ambition place. Then we're going to dive into tactics. I love to leave you with things you can do right away that help you. I don't want you to walk away from this going, oh, that's a good idea I heard once. I want you to walk away saying, you know what? There's a couple things that I can specifically do, and I'll challenge you on them to make sure you're owning it. So how to get the most out of our time together. If you have any distractions going on, get rid of them. Any beeps, buzzes, anything around you, go to a place, get your headset on, really concentrate on this. Here's what I know. There may be one theme, one phrase, one quote that really ignites you And I wouldn't want you to miss that. As it's being said, you can hear something or you can really listen. And my goal is for you to listen because there's going to be some awesome themes today. And I really want to make sure you get them and you think about them. And I'll back them up with a challenge and a little training, those kind of things. So much fun. Second, take notes. If you have any specific questions, comment below. Whether you're joining us on Facebook or whether you're at bit.ly/monthlyhealth, comment below. Or if you're watching the replay, comment below because I'm watching those comments, I'm answering those comments, I'm helping you out, taking care of you. I promise. That's my promise to you is I'm here to help you, support you, care for you, love on you, challenge you. But I really need to know what that is for you. So go ahead, comment below if you have any questions that come up as we're working through this. Star the questions so that later on, if you want, there's a way for us to answer those. I'll make sure if you post those that I'll answer those in a video format. And in our Mastery community members, we have our live Zoom roundtable today. We're going to rock that out. We got a lot going on there too. And that's a big part of this. Next is assure you're open and vulnerable. And even if you're not going to share, in the comments or whatever that is, I want you to think more openly. I want you to be more vulnerable, be more honest with your feelings. A lot of people, including some people close to me, they get caught in just shutting down. And they shut down growth. And then they get themselves into a corner, or as we like to say in high performance, into a cage. And I really want to make sure if that's where you're feeling emotionally, we'll talk about that as part of our training today, by the way, that I'm able to help you, but you got to let me know. And even if it means private messaging me on Facebook or emailing me, whatever that is, let me know what it is, because I really want to make sure you understand how committed I am to taking care of you, to helping you. And I've coached now, over 3,000 high performance sessions. I've probably heard it all. Like nothing phases me anymore in a good way. Like I say, oh, wow, you're going through that? Somebody else has gone through that. So many people feel alone in their journey, but they don't express it. And that's a big part of this. Open, explicit communication, let it out. If you can't let it out with anybody else, you can let it out with me. Love to hear, comment below, private message, whatever that is. Next up, participate. Today for our monthly Mastery community members, we're going to be rewarding participation. We're talking a lot about that in our Zoom roundtable. We've been doing that. We gave out, over $200 in gift cards for people that really own the participation. What does that mean? It means when I say comment, comment. When I say rate yourself, rate yourself. Let us know what your rating is. That's a big part of this whole journey, right? So participate. And then finally, please know, we have got a lot of people in our beautiful Life and Business Mastery community now. I think we're over 70 members. And we're here for you. So if you see comments, you'll see some support. Generally, the people in our community, they are very supportive and want to help you. And they're usually pretty explicit about it. So we'll be having that conversation as well, rocking it out. Of course, our first step, as I mentioned, some fireworks please, is to help you keep perspective. So how are we going to do that? We're going to do that with this beautiful life assessment. So if you don't have it yet, go to bit.ly/mylifeassessment, all one word. It looks like this. And it's basically 7 areas. We're going to walk through them. If you don't have it or can't get to it, no worries. I'm going to walk you through it. You're going to see it on the big screen, and we're going to be able to step through this together. Today, I want to do this a little differently than we've done it before. Usually, I'm doing it from the whiteboard and reading it to you. We're going to read it, but I want you to close your eyes as we go through each of these elements, because I really want you to sense the emotion. Especially now at the midpoint of the year. You get this clear, next thing you know, you're like, dang, maybe I need to change something. Maybe something needs to shift for me, right? So I don't know what that is for you, but maybe we'll uncover some stuff. You excited? I hope so. I'm so excited to be here with you. There's been a buzz in the air. I've been I don't know what it is. This time of year, July, it's my favorite time of the year. My birthday's coming up and I used to get in a lot of trouble around my birthday. If my mom's watching, she'll tell you. Char used to sit in his room because he was grounded for an hour, or on the couch grounded because he was causing all kinds of ruckus, all kinds of, we'll just say fun, before his birthday. Usually 2 weeks, 3 weeks before my birthday. My birthday's August 1st, so yeah, we're coming up on that, and I'm feeling the buzz. So instead of maybe causing a problem, I want to cause some goodness for you. Sound good? Okay, so that being said, let's start the assessment. The first area we're going to assess is now. Now, it's really critical as we do this work that you think about now in your life. And what I mean by that is, this is the midpoint of the year, right? We just cleared the second half of 2018, and I want to make sure you're owning this. So go ahead, shut your eyes, take a deep breath. What we're going to do is I'm going to read it to you, And then you assess yourself as to how far you feel you agree with the statement. 1, not at all. 10, yes, very much. If it's low, that's totally cool. Whatever it is for you, you don't have to share it. I do recommend you share it to participate. Just comment below and really let us know, okay, I feel, if it's an 8 or less, okay, here's the thing, why I believe it's that, and here's one thing I might try to level it up. Does that all make sense? I hope so. Thanks again for being here. I'm so excited to do it this way. I've been pumped. I'm like a little kid wanting to give you gifts. Here we go. You ready? So close your eyes. Let me read it to you. And there's 2 parts to it. I am where I thought I'd be at this point in my life. Overall, I'm living into the best version of myself for me, those I love and care for, and the world. So if you shut your eyes, go ahead and open them. We'll say it one more time. I am where I thought I'd be at this point in my life. Overall, I'm living into the best version of myself for me, those I care for and love, and the world. So what shows up for you there? 1, don't agree with that at all. 10, owning it. If you feel like sharing, that's participation, right? Share your rating and why. Would love to hear. So many people let life just happen, and then they don't realize till later on in life that, whoa, I had a choice to be happy. Boy, I should have taken up that opportunity to go to this destination, to travel more, to live more. They get caught in what I like to call being a zombie in the matrix. And this statement kind of busts that. So wherever you're at, that's totally cool. If it's below an 8, my challenge for you is to just think about one thing you're going to do to be better in these areas. Maybe define your best self. Maybe define your best self for yourself. Like, oh, you know what? In my best self, I'm probably eating better. I'm probably sleeping more. I'm probably hydrating more. Probably exercising more. My best self for those I love. What does that look like? For those I care for, what does that look like? For the world, how can I show up and be really connected in the world, right? So that's the first area. Let's go to the second one, my best self. We're going to dive deeper here into your best self. Again, let me read this to you, and go ahead, shut your eyes if you want to, and really listen, sense this for you. Does that make sense? Boy, this is so powerful. Here we go. First part. Overall, I feel healthy, happy, and energized. My energy levels are consistent throughout the day and even sustain into the evenings when I wind down for bed. So what's showing up for you here? 1, what energy? I don't feel healthy at all. I'm not happy. And if that's you and you really want to shift, you're going to love what we cover today with the emotional guidance system scale, I think is what it's called. We're going to be diving deep on that. It'll really help you assess where you're at and kind of paint a path for you to be able to level up. Cool? I hope this helps. So many people I know personally have had to deal with suicide with those they love and care for in their life. And I'm one of them. My cousin, it was about 10 years ago, decided to take his own life. And I just wish that I could have been more supportive. I don't know if that would have helped, but it's through these kinds of exercises that we course correct depression, guilt, fear, all these kind of things to set that ambition for who we want to be. And if that's something you're struggling with right now, please reach out to me or reach out to somebody to help. I'm more than happy to help you, direct you, take care of you, whatever I can do. I realize everybody's on their own journey. That's a big part of this. So how'd you do on this one? Do you feel healthy, happy, and energized? Do you have consistent energy throughout the day? What's showing up for you there? At the very end, I'm going to rate myself on all these, and you're going to love it. But you know what? There's some areas I'm falling apart on too, so I'm going to be open and vulnerable with you just as I ask of you. So if you want to comment below, that's part of participation. We might reward you. You never know. So go ahead, let me know what that is for you. Would love to hear. Third item is my relationships. So let me read this to you and just really integrate. If you want to shut your eyes, feel free. Here we go. I work diligently to create, build, and maintain great relationships with those around me. I'm a good role model for my loved ones, those close to me, and the world. And finally, I consistently listen well, show compassion for myself and others, and communicate my thoughts and feelings. So what's showing up for you there? I know that was a big one. And all we're trying to do is get an overall rating for how you feel with those 3 statements. Overall, how do you feel you're doing? The big themes here Are you building, creating great relationships with people who are above? We call that back in the day, Heather, Paul, Dale, if you guys are out there, shout out to you. Being above the line, accountability, responsibility, ownership. These kind of friendships that are championing you on, challenge you. What are we gonna do that's fun today? Those kind. Second, that idea of close role model. Are you role modeling great behaviors for your loved ones, those close to you, and the world? And then third, consistently listening well, showing compassion, communicating well. I know that's heavy duty, but what is it for you? Comment below, let me know. 1, not at all. Don't even agree with any of that. 10, owning it. And if it's below an 8, comment one thing you're committed to really bump any one of these areas. Maybe it's a book you're going to read. Maybe it's somebody you just need to call. Maybe down here, you just need to ask some better questions of somebody. Whatever it is, you got this. You need some questions to ask? I can help you there. We'll rock it out together. How's that sound? Good? Sweet. All right. Next up is stress, overwhelm, and clarity. This is a huge one. So many people I've had the honor of working with have said, these two on the left, stress and overwhelm, get eliminated when I get more clear on who I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to be doing. So again, shut your eyes if you want to. This is kind of a journey for us. I have great stress management practices in my life. When I do get stressed, I know exactly what to do to reduce or remove it from my life. I typically do not feel overwhelmed or distracted because I have clarity of who I am and what I should be doing every day. So think about that. Read that again to yourself. What is it for you? 1, do not have that dialed in at all. 10, owning it. And if it's below an 8, what's one thing you're committed to in the next week? My dream for you is by the end of this year, you've got this so dialed in, you're like, yeah, got it. I used to get stressed out about some things. Now I don't get as stressed. Remember, subtle shifts over the long term equal exponential results. And that's my story with my temper. When I was in my teens and 20s, bad temper. But I worked diligently and it just kind of went away. It was like a bad storm that was just kind of going away while the good blue skies were coming in. And it was just through practice, setting mental triggers, realizing what was setting me off, realizing what I needed to shift. Same story with stress, Stress can be, just that overarching feeling of, or it can really trigger things for people. And so what are those triggers? Sometimes this saying helps, and I know it helps me. I can be right or I can be happy, and I choose happy. So the other saying that goes along with that is to choose my battles. You know what I mean? Like, oh boy, they just threw some information at me or said something that's going to set me off. How do I want to respond to that? I got to choose my battles. And that, to me, tucks that away in a nice emotional package and I send it off. And if that helps you, awesome. That's what I'm here for. Help you with illustration, I'll challenge you, and really even teach you on some things that can really kind of move the needle for you. Not only in life, but also in business. Because this helps people. If you're a leader in your business, be a better leader. If you're a team member, be a better team member. If you're working with customers, be a better customer support service person. Whatever that is for you, that's powerful, isn't it? So what is that? What's the one thing that you want to dial in here? Do you need to get clarity on what you're supposed to be doing? Do you need to get clarity on how you want to show up? Suggestion, get a piece of paper out and write, clarity for me is ... and just describe it. The characteristics, the qualities, the traits, the values. Fun? If you're like, that's too much work, you got to get in and go after it. That's the big part of this. Next up is my career mission. The work I do in the world is meaningful to me. I believe I'm consistent about living in alignment with what the best use of me is on this, the best use of me, my passions, and my talents are. So what is that for you? Where are you at there? 1, I'm working for somebody, I don't like it, feel like I'm in jail, I don't have a mission. You know what I mean? 10, I'm owning it. And even if it is a 10, what's that next level for you, right? What does that look like for you? Let's talk about ambition for a minute. 10, 20 years ago, I had a lot going on, was living very purposefully. Today, I'm living the most purposefully and the most profitably. And that's a huge connector. When you align yourself with what we call in high performance, your mission, And I call it like my passions, I'll even say obsessions. That's what we talk about in high performance. The things you're obsessed in a good way towards, helping others. What is that for you? Are you living into it? If that's the ambition and you're over here and you're trying to get there, what's the path you need to take to move forward with that? I'm so blessed to be able to tell you I can help you in major ways. I've been doing that for almost 30 years now, helping entrepreneurs live into and define their purpose, their passion, their mission, and then helping them make it profitable so they can sustain life, a good life from it. Cool? All right, next up, my hobbies and my passions. Here's what you want to rate yourself on. I know and understand the importance of having hobbies to help me continually connect to my creative and self-expressive side. I'm consistent about nurturing my hobbies and passions. What is that for you? This is the part where so many people just fall off. And I'm so happy. Jason, my right-hand man, and we were the other night, we're like, dude, we need to have a guys' night. And we had great time playing some computer games, having some brewskis. And I was like, this is everything. We played 3 or 4 hours. I was like cross-eyed by the time I was done. But I felt so incredibly connected. We had team building going on. We had just a love for what we were doing. We were sitting on 2 computers and just going after it. If any of you remember the days when I used to have ISMI, the company in Michigan, we used to have the classroom at night. We'd set it up as the game room. We called it the Doom Room, or we'd play Hexen or Heretic or Quake, all these great computer games that were multiplayer, and we'd go after it. And it was so much fun, so powerful. And we get done with that, I'd bring in pizza, all that kind of stuff. But that's the part that made life feel more alive, connected, joyous, fun. That's what I want for you. Do you have enough of that in your life right now? What's showing up for you? Really, comment. Dude, I need to do more of X. I need to do more of Y. I need to consider what I used to like to do when I had hobbies. I need to consider what my passions might be. Is it art? Is it photography? Is it computer games with cool people? What is it for you? I would love to know. I'm always looking for ideas too, so if you feel like commenting, please do share. Cool? Awesome. Next up, my life's ambitions, and this one is the big one. This is really pivotal. If you've never read the book, The 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware, you can go out on the Google train and Google 5 Regrets of the Dying. You'll see a blog post. Take the time to just look it over. It takes like 3 minutes. Because the biggest thing people have said as they were going out of life, typically she helped people with terminal illnesses, is they didn't define, pursue, go after their life's ambitions. And right now, like I said, we're at a pivotal point in 2018. If this year's been kind of a dud from moving forward on that for you, we have a good half year to go after it. So December 31st is your partying and bring in the new year. You're like, you know what? I course corrected in the middle of the year. I went after it. I took off. So I hope this particular item, this particular element in the life assessment helps you. So you ready? So go ahead, shut your eyes. Let's do this as an adventure together. Cool? Take a deep breath, and here we go. If I died tomorrow, I wouldn't have any regrets. I've lived a life where I've paid attention to and taken action on my life's ambitions. At least once a year, I reevaluate my life's ambitions and schedule time for them. How you doing there? Please tell me if it's a 1 for you. Let me know. And let me know what your commitment is. And if you need ideas, sometimes we get into that little tunnel vision where we're like, this is what I got to do in life, this is what I got to do in life, and we forget to have fun. And if you haven't read the book, The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, he was the guy working 80, 90, 100 hours a week and then had to shift, had to pivot. And he documented it and said, you can travel the world and make money. And he shows you how. And then there's a lot of other people doing that too, right? And that, for a lot of people, it's just they want to experience more. They want more novelty, more newness in their life. But they get so caught up in this, gotta get this house paid off, gotta do this, gotta do that, they forget to take time. Even if they don't have the money for it, there's so many things you can do for free. Take a walk in the park, go for a run, walk the beach if you're down here in Florida with us. This time of the year in summer, go out and enjoy, right? But rather they stay in their head and they stay inside. And my dream for you is just to have ambition in life, to be clear about what it is. And if there's anything I can do to help you move towards it, if there's anything I can do to support you, to move you towards that end, that's my very reason for being on this planet. So comment below and let me know what that is so that I can help you. If you're like, dude, I have no ideas. This blew my mind. I have no clue. I would have all kinds of regrets. Then let's talk that out. Cool? So that is the 7 areas. Now I'm going to rate myself, and I did this just before the call so that we could really own this. So remember now, for me, that's an 8. I am where I thought I'd be at this point, and I'm doing pretty well now. Finally, got course corrected. Next up is my best self, a 9. I spend so much time helping people their best selves. I'm thinking about that for me all the time, challenging myself to be better, but I know I can do even more. Next, stress, overwhelm, and clarity. For me, that's a 10. I'm ultra clear about who I want to be and how I want to show up for you every day. Some days, yeah, like everybody, we have these, but I'm clear about it. And stress and overwhelm, I've got great practices for that. You want me to give you one? Awesome. I put on headphones and listen to Frank Sinatra, and I just concentrate on the music. And that really helps me remove any kind of stress that's coming over me. Quick one. Music is a great stress reliever I found as I've coached so many people. My relationships, 9. Can I do better? I think I can, but I'm doing really well with helping people and having good quality relationships, presence, care, compassion, these kinds of things, right? My career mission, 7. There's some things that I got to move forward on. I want to contribute in bigger ways. And I'm really setting the stage in 2018 to do that in 2019. But I am contributing in smaller ways right now. Does that make sense? So I have a bigger ambition than where I'm at right now. So yeah, it's below an 8. I know what I got to do. Rank that up. My hobbies and passions, an 8. Like I said the other night, we're living into it. Could I dial that in more consistently? Absolutely. We'll rock that. Next up, my life's ambitions, 9+. Not quite a 10, but I'm really moving through. Just being here with you is a big part of that. So thank you so much for being here, going through this together. Next up, let's jump into the 10 needle movers as the wheel of perspective, which looks a lot like that. This little guy, if you want it, it's on bit.ly/monthly health. So we're going to whip through this, and then we're going to dive into our training. I hope you're enjoying what we're doing so far. So that being said, let's jump into it, shall we? First and foremost, sleep. When you think about the last, let's just say for 2018. So for 2018 so far, rating 1 to 10, have you been getting the right amount of rest every night for you? What shows up for you there? For me, that's an 8. There's been some times where I didn't, some times where most of the time I have, and I know what that is for me, but I'm on cue. Could I do a little better? I think I could get blackout curtains, make sure that all sounds are minimized, those kind of things. Yeah, but overall, doing really well. If it's below an 8 for you, what's one thing you got to shift to rate that up? Hydration. Are you drinking water? Are you bringing the joy? I'm bringing the joy, bringing the joy. Let's have some. Let's take a sip. For me, that's a 7. I got to pay extra attention to make sure I have those insulated water bottles with me at all times. And I know that. And for whatever reason, I have a good habit of that. And then all of a sudden, I'll fall off. You ever have that happen? Next up, eating. 80% nutrient-rich eating. That means staying away from the browns and staying in the colors, and Skittles don't count. What you doing there? I dial it in. I'm at about 95% eating veggies, nuts, fruits, moderate amount of fruit, and protein. And some carbs here and there, like breads and stuff like that, but just very limited. So what's that for you? Next up, exercise. How you doing there? Boy, I got some work to do. I have these big ambitions of getting down in the gym more often, going for the runs more often. I usually run 2 to 3 times a week. I want to make that 3 to 4. So I'm really working to get that in my schedule and own it. Next up, breaks. We know the importance of taking breaks throughout the day to sort of reset ourselves. To just, how are we doing? Chill, reset, rejuvenate, reset. I think I already said that. But really make sure that we're connected to it. Sometimes we get so far in the trenches in our day, we come out of the day and we're like, what just happened? Wait, 8 hours just happened? These breaks are critical for making sure we're assessing ourselves throughout the day. So literally the highest performers, they have time chunks scheduled. 50 minutes of work, 10-minute break. They get up, stretch, move around, those kind of things. How are you doing there? Happiness. I love the idea of being around people that generally uplift me, but also making sure that we're learning, creating, and sharing new things. These are two of the big places that people have reported the most amount of happiness. Being grateful, having fun with others. How you been doing this year so far? For me, that's a 9. Been really working, owning the happiness piece to this. What shows up for you? How's that going for you? There are pockets of life where you're not so happy. What can you do about it? Right? Next, finances. 9+ for me. So this means that we're living within our means, yet we're still having fun. And we're saving for the future. You follow? So our job is to connect those dots. How can we live in our means while having fun, whatever that is for us, and save for the future? So if you need help there, you're going to love some of my training, just let me know. Comment below. I'll be able to help you dial in your finances. I have a financial worksheet, just a real quick one. Makes it real easy for you. It's pretty awesome. So if you're owning it, good, awesome. What's the sustenance for you? How are you going to keep that going as you grow in life? So for me, as a side note, I became clear about experiences over stuff. Being on the stuff journey, getting more things, boy, that got depleting. So for me, it's a limited amount of stuff. In 2006, sold 90% of my things, and I live a life of experiences. You probably see on Facebook if you follow me. Cool? So I don't know if that helps, but I want to make sure you get some illustration in here too. Next, presence. The biggest gift you can give to yourself, to others, to your team, your family, your lover, your friends, the world, is non-distraction, presence, care, compassion. So how you been doing here? We know the big issue in life right now is phones, right? Everybody's looking at those instead of looking at the person in front of them, it seems like. How you been doing at dinner with your love? Staring at the phone or being present with them? Now, I'm not saying I'm any good at any of this, but I've been working my buns off to make sure that I'm more present this year than ever. Still fall off here and there, but I try to course correct and own it. So if you're at a 2 or 3 there, fine. We just got to figure out what it is for you to level that up 1. Follow? Next, purpose. Have you been living, leading, loving purposefully in your life? For most, that means helping others somehow. For some, that means helping others improve their business somehow. So I'm blessed I get to do both of those things. But my question for you is this: do you have a specific purpose statement? And if you do, how are you doing with it? What's showing up for you? Whew, good stuff, huh? This can make you think. If you're living non-purposefully, like at a 1 or a 2, let me know. Comment. I'm going to guide you on a really specific exercise that'll help you. And it will really move the needle for you. If you're in our beautiful mastery community, you know you can go to session 11 in our core session high performance work and revisit the entire purpose coaching session. Do the coaching session homework to just kind of redefine what you know now. And I got to tell you, your purpose evolves as you go through life. But at the very essence, do you feel purposeful living? Do you feel that zest? Like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, and I'm doing some of it in life. And if not, there's always options. Let me know if you need help there. Daily plan. Do you have a specific plan every day? Do you sit down the night before and plan your day out? Do you live into it? Do you fall off? So many people I've had the honor of coaching, they fall off when they got to do stuff for themselves, but they'll meet those appointments with others, no problem. The highest performers shift that. They own the appointments they schedule with themselves and with others. So when they got to go work out on their own without a workout buddy, they go and do it. And for me, I live into that. Every day I have a clear idea going into the day, exactly what I need to do and why. And it's a big part of our productivity and productivity mastery sessions in high performance. It's really honing that, giving you the needle movers on what that is. So with that all being said, let's move on to our second step, which is fireworks, the training piece. And we're going to go ahead and move the cameras and scoot over to training. I hope you enjoyed this idea of doing that from the whiteboard. Doing that from the big screen. Because that's a kind of co-creative experience. And I've noticed when I'm training or learning from others, if I can see it on the screen while they're saying it, it lands differently for me. It integrates deeper. And I was thinking about that as I was trying to maybe surprise you a little bit in the way that we're doing this whole monthly mastery. So yeah, we're going to continue that in our business and internet monthly mastery in about an hour and a half. But that's the scene. So let's go ahead and move the cameras because I'm a one-man show. We got to handle it and get all focused in on the whiteboard. And we'll continue our journey there. Make sure we're in focus. And we're over here. Excellent. Okay. Good stuff. So, you guys ready for this? Ready to rock this? Important to hydrate. So here we go. What are the 3 powerful ways to be the best lover? And there's a star by that. I'll tell you about that in just a second. Leader and friend. And I got to tell you, when I say lover, it's like lover for the significant other, but lover of life too. I want to make sure you get that distinction. We always talk about that in high performance. Are you the best with those you're closest to? And that's usually where people fall off because we feel like we can kind of get away with things, right? So first and foremost, the basic premise of life are in the first 2 pieces. People, if you want to envision this, as people come to you, envision on their forehead, see me, hear me, acknowledge me, love me. Even the people that are the most difficult, that's the human spirit at life. It's a big thing that we teach in high performance is acknowledging people, but not just being like, hey, how you doing? But more along the lines of being honoring of them and being grateful for them, what they do in the world, who they are in the world, and those kind of things. So that's the very first thing, is to be honoring and grateful. Always. I looked over my emails over the last 5 years, and every time I send one, I am opening it with happy day of week. Happy, Saturday. Happy Saturday, Charlie. I hope you're doing well this weekend or this day or whatever it is. And I type that out. I don't have that like automated. And when I do that, I'm honoring of them and being grateful for them on this planet and sending them love. You follow? So I want to challenge you on this because this is everything, especially with those closest to you. How well have you done honoring your mom or your dad if they're still with us? Your husband or wife if you have one? Your children? Have you expressed to them that you're grateful for them and what they do in the world? Even if they can be a pain in the butt sometimes. Even though you can be a pain sometimes, I'm still grateful that you're in my life. That kind of language. And most importantly, what's the physiology of it when it's delivered? What does that look like for you? Is it this face or is it this face? Are you bringing the joy, right? These are just needle movers towards really owning that conversation to be the very best you can be in life for yourself, for others, and the world. So I would dare challenge you to rate yourself. Maybe if you're a spreadsheet person or just a sheet of paper person, just kind of draw out people's names and say, in my last conversations, whether they're on the phone and text and email or in person, how honoring and grateful have I been and demonstrated for these people? Maybe list 10 people. You follow? What's that look like for you? If you're like, whoa, I really want you to think about developing the way you can show more honor and gratefulness, respect. The number one thing Dr. John Gottman teaches about people on the brink of divorce, and sometimes they don't know it for 2 to 5 years beforehand, is the lack of respect between them, and it's at the core. I would say in my divorce, which was in 2005, beginning 2006, the respect was lost. For me, it was probably in the last 6 months of our relationship as a married couple. For my ex-wife, probably in the last couple years. It was just this downward spiral, and we'll talk about spirals in a minute too. But the idea was there was a respect lost. And boy, I wasn't honoring or grateful at all. Like I was a pain in the rear. Negative, neutral-minded, too much kind of living out of alignment with who I thought I should be. I was way overweight. Just a lot of things. And I know you may have that going on for you, or you may have had that, or that may come up for you. But being honoring and grateful are always great traits to be the best. Cool? Number 2 is to know their currency. And it's all about them. So what does that mean exactly? By the way, Mastery community members, this is the stage set for our training this afternoon on ambition line curriculum and marketing. And this sets the stage for what we're going to cover. I tried to incorporate both of these together. But we have to know, in context for being the best we can be as a leader, a lover, and as a friend, we have to know what's important to others. It's about them and their journey and how we can help them. It's not about us and them listening to us. Gossip, blame, excuse, denial, right? So really, really important. When I say currency, what I mean is their intrinsic and extrinsic values. Like, think of the top 3 people you hang around most. Do you really know what's most important to them? Intrinsically, which are things that are important to them to feel good, and extrinsically, like money, status, power, fame, those kind of things. Do you know what it is? Do you want me to tell you what mine are? Mine are connection, intrinsic. If I can connect with you and we're connecting and we're having a good time together, I'm helping you, that is a thing. So if you told me, Char, I want you to meet this person who I know you can help and is a great person, that is huge for me. That's my currency. My extrinsic currency is on adventure, love and life, going to the beach, just hanging out, going to great places to eat and chill, which we'll be doing tonight down probably in Naples. Maybe go out and see our buds at the Continental, rocking it. Chad, Barry, Nas, all the peeps down there. Big part of this, though, is that I'm very dialed in as to what's important to the people that I care for, love, serve, and anybody I meet. Does that make sense? So the challenge for you to think about those relationships that are closest to you is to know their currency, and it's about them and their journey. In the context of business, that's how great businesses are built and maintained, is that we know what's important to our customers, and we tell them explicitly, and we help them down that path. So often when I read web content or emails, it's all about me and my journey. They call that weeing all over yourself in the copywriting industry. We don't want to do that. We want to be in their story. And we may talk about ourselves as illustrative sort of points, but that's the piece. Does that all make sense? So my challenge for you to think through this one is, who in your life do you need more connection with, to communicate better with? And if you want to have great fuel, ask them this question: what's important to you in life right now? Because they'll come back with phrasings, words that really help you understand what it is. So for example, as a extrinsic value of mine, a really good lasagna. If you were to tell me, hey Char, I found this great lasagna place, I want to take you there, or give me a gift card to there, that hits it right on the mark for one of my elements of currency, right? Like, love lasagna. I don't have it maybe once or twice a month at the very most, but that's the scene. It's a food, it's a thing, it's an experience. I always think about the experience piece, and that's a huge part to this. So that's the second. So let's kind of recap what we've talked about so far. First, it's being honoring and grateful, always. Making sure that you're living into that through your words, through your actions, starting and ending. We call that the law of recency. When you end a conversation with somebody, do you be like, hey, see you later? Or you're like, hey, see you later, and I hope you have an amazing day. You see how we're leaving in that honoring, grateful place? And then second, do you know their currency? Do you know what it is about them? Do you reflect that in your daily, weekly life? Like, I know it's important to you to have date night out once a week. And the last couple of weeks, we haven't really done that. But I really want to make an experience tonight, so I got some stuff set up for you as a surprise. That kind of language. Cool? Just landed for you? I hope so. Thanks so much for being here. So the last piece is a little lengthier, and it's what we call honoring the struggle to the ambition. So it's co-creating where they're struggling and where they want to go. But you've got to recognize, as we talked about a little earlier, many people don't dream big enough. Our job on this planet, if you really want to own it, and you're all about helping others improve their lives, is to create bigger ambition and also help them baby step, as I say, to that. But you got to remember this, and if you got your notes out, you want to write this down. People support what they create. So it's got to be a co-creation. So if somebody's reporting a struggle to me, I'll ask questions. And if you don't have questions answered, the spirals here are really powerful places to start. I'm going to kind of walk you through those. For those of you in business, this is everything about how you tell a story in teaching and in marketing. These are the points that you want to hit. And it's all part of the emotional guidance scale, which is available online. And I made a bit.ly link for you at EGS, the number 4, the letter U. EGS, Emotional Guidance Scale, the number 4, the letter U. So if you want to get that, bit.ly, EGS for you. I've got that out there for you so you can follow along. So many people come to me, they're like, I wouldn't even know how to talk struggle. I wouldn't even know what to say to create an ambition. But here's what we know. The highest performers in life and business are very articulate in both of those areas. They sort of live in the sensory. They live in the descriptions. So when we think about the downward spiral of people, going from a neutral to a negative place, and then the upward spiral, here's the descriptors. And this is the actual order of how it kind of works in the emotional guidance system. And I want you to remember this. Anytime you're selling, marketing, helping others, teaching them, your job is to fire up emotions. Your job is to get them emotional about something because they'll move, they'll take action more often from a place of emotion. One of the big things in sales that we know, emotion sells, logic seals the deal. So you probably have done this before maybe, where you're like, oh my gosh, I want that thing, I want that thing, I want that thing. And you got so emotional about it, you got it. And then 10 minutes later, you're like, why did I get this? Or it's not what I thought it'd be, or it's, could have probably done without it. You ever done that? Because there's that emotional dopamine hitting you, the happy hormone going after it. And what we're really trying to do is assess how we can describe or we can help. So the emotional guidance scale is really, really powerful for that. So at the very bottom, our job is to recognize, call out, ask good questions around what they're fearful about, where they have grief, if they have depression, powerlessness, and where they feel like they're a victim. So in the business realm, you want to ask or say to them, do you feel like you have no power in terms of your future? Are you directionless in terms of how you want to approach the next 10 years of your life? Do you feel like you're locked into a job that you don't want? Then we can flip up here to the top end of the scale on the positive side, joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. Now, I hope I've done a good job so far today of living into each of those elements. Joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation. Like when you live from here, people feel it. When you're authentic with it, people feel it. But that's the desire that so many have. Some people, they want to live as a neutral or negative kind of nanny, whatever that would be. That's cool. That's their scene. But my dream and desire for you and anybody you know is to live from the top of the emotional guidance scale, is to live into joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation, to really own these elements. So how does this relate to being the best you can be as a lover, a leader, and a friend? Really easy. You're asking questions from these places. So what we often do, people will admit to us, like where they're struggling in life or there's a certain life situation coming up, and they're usually describing something over here. And what we're trying to do as a high performer, but as also somebody who's really going after life from that place of full connection, joy, and engagement, is coming from over here. So I'm going to read through these, and I want you to think about statements that you might be able to come up with, that you could ask better questions of to really understand somebody's currency, to help them paint that picture of a great ambition, but also to recognize where they're struggling, frustrated, challenged. So many people I know have helped people who are chronically in blame, excuse, denial, gossip, move towards more ambitious living, even baby steps. That's the honor of what we get to do in high performance coaching. There's parts of people's personalities we're not happy with. They usually sit over here in the red and black, but we're moving them towards the green, blue. Does that all make sense? So let me kind of walk through. This is in order of priority, by the way. The people with the most positive emotion are in the 1, 2, 3 area. The people down here in the most negative place are at the bottom of the spiral, and we kind of went over that. So as I read these, just maybe take some notes. Think about what questions I could ask that would help co-create the struggle to get more detail on it so that we can counteract the struggle points they've said with emotional positive points. Does that make sense? Some of these you'll see opposites appear. So let's go ahead and get started. At the very bottom of the negative, just bad energy, it's fear, grief, depression, powerlessness, victim. So when I hear those things, the biggest question that comes to mind is like, if somebody's acknowledging that they're stressed, struggling with something, what do you fear? Where do you feel like you don't have control? And it really helps me articulate that. By the way, marketers, that's gold for ambition-based curriculum and marketing. You follow? So you should be asking your customers that. Then we kind of move up. Do they feel jealous at all? Insecurity, guilt, unworthy. I did a post and I put in how I felt guilty for being connected to so many experts and I couldn't follow them all. And for whatever reason, that post took off, but I actually used the word guilt. And I have to say, there's probably a piece. There's books that tell you what words motivate and inspire and get people emotional. Guilt's a really powerful word. You follow? So where are they feeling guilty? And how can you help them not feel guilty to go after an ambitious life? Or just categorize that, maybe park it, and then go after a bigger positive piece. Revenge, hatred, rage, discouragement, anger, worry, blame, disappointment, doubt, overwhelm, frustration, irritation, impatience, boredom, and pessimism. All these words are great when you're coming up with content for a marketing campaign, when you're teaching somebody. You should be acknowledging a few of these in the struggle part, which is the red side, and then you should be counteracting them. We call that contrasting in the blue side, the ambition of what's possible. You see how the struggle lives in here usually, and the ambition is over here. You follow? I hope you're getting this because it's giving me chills just going through this with you. This was everything for me to be able to say, okay, I get struggle and I get ambition, but what are the words? What are the feelings? What are the emotions that I need to connect with? And by the way, those of you who know the TSTC model I teach, this is the S, where you create the story in TSTC. And we'll be going into huge depth in that in our Business Internet Monthly Mastery in about an hour and 10 minutes from now. And I really want to make sure we set the stage for you. Just as a side note, my challenge today was to build something that really fueled the training for later, but also stood alone. So if you're a content creator, this is huge. You follow? Pretty cool. So when we think about the ambition, this is usually where that sits. And we'll start at the bottom. So what are they content with? What could they be content with in life? Kind of a baseline level of positive, right? I'm content. And what does it take to get there? What do they have to overcome over here to get to contentment? Then hopefulness. What are they hopeful about? I love the question that we ask in high performance, for example. What are you excited about? What are you excited for? What are you hopeful for? Right? And for you, in this context of what we're talking about today, as you go through the last half of the year, what are you excited about by the end of the year? What's showing up for you? What are you hopeful that will happen? Got some things? Awesome. Rocks! So excited you're here. I'm loving this. I hope this helps because this is like gate opening for so many people who just, they say, this is what they've reported to me, I just grunt my answers. I don't know how to express. But this is where the expression lies. When you get clear on the emotions around these feelings, you're like, yeah, I do blame a lot. Why do I blame a lot? I don't know. And then they start to think about it. I get angry a lot. Then they start to think about it. And then we kind of track in terms of what the triggers are to get them angry, right? You follow? So then we move up, optimism. You see over here pessimism. So what are you optimistic about? What can we do to bring more of that into your life? Then we kind of move up, positive belief, positive expectation. What do you believe will happen? My wife had this great phrase about 2 weeks ago. She says, I've never really thought much more than I believe good things will happen, and they usually have. And that was profound for me. But that came from here. And I was like, I told her quite a few times since then, I was like, I keep thinking about that. And I love how you're such a role model into that. So positive belief, enthusiasm. What are you enthusiastic about? Or what could you get enthusiastic about? Passion. It's one of my things. Passion, obsession in a good way. What are you passionate about? What could you be passionate about? So when I'm working with people who are just, this is what they report, Life's good. I'm okay. My business is all right. It's profitable, but I'm just lost my connection with it. We got to reignite this. We got to reignite this. And that can be tricky. And it's been quite a journey for a few of the people I've served and been honored to help, and helping, by the way, to get this stuff reignited, but to come out of this. Because if we don't set the stage and get clear about it, guess what? Humans have that negativity bias. We'll fall into this sometimes, but we want to stay over here. So, and I always started with this, joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation. There's a lot packed into the very top of the ambitious life. So I like to break that down. What are you joyous about? What are you doing to build knowledge, to become more competent? Mastery community members, you know, we talked about competence in our hour-long session and really skill stacking, learning goals, those kind of things, towards betterment for ourselves and others. Like when I say those words, it really gets me pumped. But if you have curriculum that you're creating to help others, or even marketing that you're creating, where are you demonstrating and saying those things, and how are you showing up when you say them, right? Yesterday, Brendan Burchard, our master coach in high performance, did marketing training. He called out, you've got to show them the fear, and you've got to help them understand what they're fearful for, and you've got to show them the freedom of what you have can help them feel free. And I love how he connected the dots on the low end and the high end of the emotional guidance scale. So then, what about love and appreciation? We talked a lot about that framed up here, right? So I hope you see how this all interconnects. I wanted to make sure that we painted a broad frame when we started the training part of today. That helps us live into better relationships, better life ambition, better versions of ourselves, as we talked about in our assessment. So we honor and be grateful. And in terms of the language we use, we got to know their currency. What's important to them? People love to be understood, to be acknowledged, to feel loved. And when you tell them, you know, sweetheart, I know it's important to you to have this, and then you forward that mission for them, that's everything towards that end. And you do it with that kind of face? I know you like this. Here it is. Not that kind of face. You follow? Really powerful. And then to co-create their struggle and ambition. A lot of people, they get struggle, challenge, frustration, they get ambition, and what could be the desired outcome, the goal, but they don't know how to articulate. And that bit.ly/EGS for you, print that out. And my challenge for you as we step into the tactical part of our training is to journal each person or persona. So let's draw this out for you to make this real. Person or persona. Along these lines. And what I mean by that is 3 ways you can be more honoring and grateful. And 3 ways you can honor them more. Let's do that. And 3 things you're grateful for about them. Now, I want to make sure you understand, and we'll be talking a lot about this in Business and Internet Monthly Mastery. When you get a persona, and sometimes they call that customer avatar. I like to think about it as more ambition-based marketing. When you get an idea of who that person is and what your ambitions are for them, it doesn't matter like if they're 20 or 80 or a girl or a guy. They just have that ambition. And it's a much broader scope. So if you journal for each person or persona, 3 ways you can honor them more, be grateful for them, and then you take this further in light of what we've taught today, and journal about what's important to them. And I put over here, think intrinsic and extrinsic values. This is everything towards building the case. Now, what I teach, and what you probably have seen in some of my courses if you've taken them, is that you think you know the answer, but you don't know the answer. You've got to ask. And so a lot of people are like, I built this thing and it's not selling. And it's because, in my opinion, when I look it over, you didn't even ask the audience. They didn't co-create with you. Jeff Walker teaches this as the seed launch. It's like it's building something online in the form of a course or a curriculum that was completely driven from the feedback and your knowledge of how to take them through a process that helps them grow, right? So many of the people that I've talked with, they say, I'm building this course, I got this thing, and then they talk on the video like, I built this because it's this, and I built this because of this, and I'm this, and I'm that, and I'm this, and buy it. And I just was reviewing this with somebody, and I said, dude, you didn't tell me. You didn't even ask me where I was struggling. You didn't hit on any fears, any discouragement, any frustrations, any feelings of overwhelm I have. You didn't even talk about the ambition. You just talked about what you got. And you didn't really talk about the benefit of it. And you spent a lot of time, energy, and effort and money doing that. You follow? So I hope you see how this arcs. So in the tactical piece, these are all important pieces. Then I want you to pick 3 to 5 struggle points and ambition points and practice demonstrating caring and compassionate dialogue. So let me break that down. It's kind of a tall order, isn't it? When you think about everything we framed over here, pick 3 in this area, 3 in this area, and practice talking over here in the struggle and over here in the ambition. Over here in the struggle, over here in the ambition. And make sure when you demonstrate that, and I love to do this in the mirror, that's how I used to do it. Then I went on video and watched myself do it. And now I'm doing it with you in live, is to really be of care, be of compassion. Now let me frame for you, compassion is recognizing somebody's struggle and having a desire to alleviate it. So your job, if you're compassionate, whether it's in marketing or just with somebody you love, care for, a friend, a lover, is to say, you know what? I get it. You're bored. But I'd love to know what it would be for you that we could go after that would make you feel alive, to not be bored. What is that for you? You see how I'm kind of juxtapositioning that dialogue and to really go after it? You get enough of that content in terms of the way people report to you and enough of what they want, and you just play fill in the blank in marketing or in your mind with somebody. So that all being said, what do we got here? Oh, 1 minute left. I want to thank you so incredibly much for being here. I hope today's exercise, where we started over here on the big screen, moved over here for training and tactics, really helped you feel more healthy, happy, wealthy, not only in the sense of finances, but also in the sense of just wealth of life, more connection, joy, verve, engagement. So like we teach, we recap what we've learned. So today, we went over the 7 areas that really help you assess where you're at in life, especially as we are in the middle part of 2018. What needed to shift for you? And we went over 10 needle movers to feel, to be, to look your best. And whatever that was, and maybe you got a lot of work, pick one. Just pick one area that you think will be the most. Schedule that for next week. Maybe pick the second one, schedule it for the week after. So for example, you know what? I really got to own my sleep. That's my goal next week. Go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Just put it as a week-long event. The week after, you know what? I really got to hydrate more. Let me bring a water bottle. Let me buy on Amazon an insulated water bottle that's 32 ounces and make sure that thing's filled with cold or cool water and bring that with me wherever I go. That's week 2. You see how these baby shifts make exponential change over time? And it's the biggest takeaway with a lot of people I've coached is just weekly habits. And then think about the training we did today. Where are you falling in here? And yes, you can use these as rating systems for you. How honoring have you been with person? And use a spreadsheet if you want to, like I had mentioned. How grateful? What are ways you could be more honoring and more grateful? What are ways that you could explicitly ask, hey, are you angry? Are you bored? Are you fearful of something? With that compassion and care. And what are ways you could demonstrate the ambition of what's possible? What can I do to empower you? What can I do? Do you want a book? I got a couple great books. And I got a couple great books right here, actually. Motivation Manifesto, Millionaire Messenger. Some of Brendan's finest reading material that can really help empower you and help you bring more joy, right? And then finally, with the tactics, I hope you're walking out of this session today armed and dangerous and ready. So you should have printed your bit.ly.egs for you. It looks just like this. And you should have gained a lot of explicit ways to communicate better, to bring more joy, to honor other people in their struggle, and to live into the very best of you. So that all being said, you know I'm here to help you live purposefully. Did I do that today? Check. To help you live more passionately. Did I do that today? I sure hope so. I'm going to give myself a check. To live more positively. All about this. Did I do that today? Check. To live more productively. To live towards your life's ambitions, assuming you have some. I hope I did that for you. And to live more profitably too. That's what I call the 5 Ps. I'll see our Mastery Community members in 1 hour, back online, live casting, creating ambition-based curriculum and training. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a good one, everybody. Bye. Rocked. Ha ha ha.